They run in circles until their bodies fail. And they call it exercise for pleasure?
Senior analyst Anthony had spent years decoding Terran communications, but this report stopped him cold.
Sir, Agent 47's weekly report. It claims humans voluntarily exhaust themselves for recreation. I need your eyes on this.
Running without pursuit, enduring physical strain for no strategic gain? This must be a translation error.
30 years earlier, Donald had launched Operation Long Eye with a clear mandate: exploit Terran weaknesses.
Place 200 agents. Surgical alteration. Weekly reports. In 30 years, we'll know everything about their combat capabilities.
The agents were inserted into Earth's societies, their mission simple: observe and report. Now, the reports were flooding in, and every one of them made less sense than the last.
If this is their idea of leisure, what must their idea of war be?
The question would haunt the Imperial Intelligence Service for 30 years, and it was only the beginning. 2 days later, Anthony gathered the initial analysis team in the bullpen. The room already felt too small for what they were about to confront.
I've been authorized to form a task force. These are field agent observations of Terran daily life. Let's begin with the jogging report.
Jogging? Is that a military drill? They run without orders?
Agent 89 reported. Subjects consumed a substance that induced pain. They described the sensation as enjoyable.
Pain, as a positive? That contradicts every behavioral axiom.
Then Agent 52. The human shares its dwelling with a carnivorous predator. It provides food and shelter with no apparent defense mechanism.
They keep predators as companions? Are they suicidal?
Agent 73. Large groups enter constructed chambers designed to induce terror. They emerge smiling and repeat the experience.
These behaviors don't compute. Military training? No. Social bonding? Possibly. But the risk tolerance?
By the end of the session, the analysts sat in silence, surrounded by reports that defied every known model of intelligent behavior. More reports flooded in, each one chipping away at Soren's composure. His sleep evaporated.
These behaviors, they're not just strange, they're contradictory. They endure pain for pleasure, then build machines to remove it.
Agent 112. Humans ascend artificial vertical walls. Many fall. They secure themselves just enough to survive, then climb again.
They simulate danger for sport. How do we model a species that courts injury as a recreational activity?
Agent 41. Offspring birthdays involve a structured gathering, ritualized destruction of a decorated food item, and coordinated vocalizations.
They sing while burning food? The symbolic meaning alone could take a decade to unpack.
Donald summoned Anthony to the main display chamber. A holographic Earth rotated slowly, its surface mapped with thousands of agent data points, none of them militarily useful.
Sir, the raw data doesn't align with any conventional behavioral model. We need more analysts, more time.
I didn't authorize 200 agents to study their peculiarities. Find me the vulnerability, their military doctrine, or this project becomes a cautionary tale.
Soren, overhearing from the corridor, felt a cold dread. 28 more years of this, and they were already drowning. 2 sleepless cycles later, Soren appeared at Anthony's desk, a datapad clutched in trembling hands.
I can't do this. The reports are eroding my sanity. I need a transfer. Any other posting?
We're short-staffed as it is. If you leave, the whole team collapses.
Then let it collapse. Better than spending 3 more decades cataloging human absurdities.
Before Anthony could respond, another analyst, old Torval, submitted his early retirement papers without a word. Torval cleaned his desk in 10 minutes and walked out, leaving only a half-finished report on human funeral practices.
They're bleeding out. And Donald wants combat intel. What combat intel?
Donald, meanwhile, faced the Imperial Security Council in a closed session.
My analysts are struggling, but the mission is sound. More resources will yield results.
The Council's silence was louder than any rebuke. Cracks spread through the division, and every day they widened. In the dead of 3rd cycle, Soren made his choice. He would not spend another day decoding human madness.
They can court-martial me. It's better than losing my mind.
He bypassed security protocols left open by a departing analyst and sent a single transmission off station. Then he ran. The emergency shuttle bay was unguarded during shift change. His clearance still worked. The klaxon screamed 20 minutes later. Unauthorized launch from Bay 4. Donald was in his office when the alert lit up his console. His face drained to stone.
Lock down the station. Recall all shuttles. I want Soren's last location, his comms, everything, now.
Anthony heard the lockdown announcement from his desk. He knew immediately who had broken.
He actually did it. He actually ran.
The division had lost a man not to retirement, but to the void, and the reports kept coming. Donald summoned Anthony for an urgent briefing. The defection had shaken the council's confidence. The mission needed a narrative.
Sir, I've been reviewing the reports with a tactical lens. The jogging, the climbing, even the spicy food. It could all be training.
Training for what? Their military posture is defensive.
Exactly. They condition themselves for endurance, pain tolerance, group cohesion. They've embedded warrior culture into their daily existence.
A society that prepares for war without declaring it. That's formidable.
Anthony highlighted reports of human combat drills, the ones they called paintball and martial arts, as evidence.
If you're right, then every observed behavior is a camouflaged military exercise. That would explain the high physical risk tolerance.
It's a working theory, sir, but the data is still noisy.
I'll present this to the council. A warrior species explanation buys us time, but you'd better refine it.
The warrior theory spread through the bullpen, a fragile logic that held the cracks together. Anthony knew it was incomplete. Within 3 cycles, Agent 77's report arrived, detailing a human pastime that eroded the warrior thesis. Agent 77. Humans enter dark rooms to watch projected fiction designed to induce fear. They pay for this.
Fear as recreation? That directly contradicted the warrior conditioning they'd sold to the council.
Agent 33 observed humans staring at static color arrangements for prolonged periods, calling it art appreciation.
No tactical application, no physical benefit, just staring at colors.
By week's end, another analyst filed for early retirement. The active roster shrank to 4.
The warrior theory collapsed. Each new report mocked their attempt at order.
Anthony sat alone in the bullpen, surrounded by empty stations and unanswered questions.
How do you model a species that values a painting as highly as a combat exercise?
The data refused to cooperate, shattering every hypothesis the team constructed. The Imperial Security Council sent a priority message: produce a model or we cut funding. Donald read it twice.
They have no idea what we're facing. A model? I can't even explain a birthday party.
Meanwhile, Anthony opened a report from Agent 19. The human sits for hours, manipulating simulated threats. They refer to this as gaming and improving reflexes.
Simulated threats. They create fake stress to relax. He started muttering without realizing. Pain is pleasure. Fear is fun. Fake war is a pastime. What isn't a game to them?
One more analyst saw the library of unanswered questions and walked away. Donald found Anthony's last assessment buried in the queue. A single line: humans cannot be modeled.
Anthony, report to my office. Now.
The spy master faced a choice: withdraw in disgrace or watch the division devour its own. After 25 years, Anthony had distilled the chaos into a single, audacious premise.
What if their actions aren't about war or leisure? What if they're about creating problems just to solve them?
That would make them irrational to the point of insanity.
It makes their value system entirely self-referential. They invent hurdles, then earn meaning by clearing them. Every report fits. The runner, the climber, the spice eater, they all choose difficulty.
Meaning from self-imposed suffering? That's madness.
Madness that yields art, technology, and even simulated warfare. They stage fake battles, paintball, martial arts, video games, all for the joy of mastery.
Agent 7 reported. Humans pay to be locked in rooms with strangers to solve puzzles. They call it an escape room.
We dismissed that as a bizarre ritual years ago.
But it's the same pattern. Seek discomfort, navigate it, emerge satisfied. That's their core.
If the theory held, they treated existence as a game. That didn't give the Empire a military vulnerability. It made humans profoundly unpredictable. Donald stood, the hollow report dissolving between them. 25 years of analysis, and he was no closer to a weapon.
This pattern seeking is a luxury. I need actionable intelligence, not a philosophical treatise on human motivation.
Sir, this is actionable. If we understand why they embrace hardship, we can predict their next move.
Enough. All agents will now report exclusively on military infrastructure, fleet movements, and territorial expansions. I want weaknesses, not riddles.
The directive went out. 200 agents reset their surveillance protocols that day.
They'll never grasp it. The Empire can't model a species that treats existence as a game. We're blind by design.
On his desk, the preliminary report glowed faintly, marked obsolete by his own superior.
This operation will devour us all. And for what? A list of their weapons won't explain why they'd use them.
The bullpen was silent except for the hum of failing equipment. Only 2 analysts remained. The Empire would keep searching for a weakness it could never find, unable to comprehend a mind that would invent one. Despite the new directive, a report from Agent 88 slipped through, a human seeking treatment for an irrational fear. Agent 88. The human voluntarily exposes themselves to the source of their terror, step by step, to overcome it.
Voluntary fear exposure. Self-imposed discomfort for growth. It's the same pattern.
A cascade of images flashed in his mind. The runner, the climber, the spice eater, and now the voluntary patient.
They don't just endure hardship, they seek it out. Every bizarre report, the puzzles, the art, the games, it all aligns.
The evidence had been hiding in plain sight. Humans manufactured their own challenges.
This isn't a species preparing for war. It's a species addicted to challenge. They find meaning in arbitrary struggle.
He pulled up his preliminary report, the once scattered data now forming a crystalline pattern.
If I can model this, the drive to overcome self-imposed obstacles, the Empire might finally see, not a threat, but a key.
The theory had evolved. Now, he had a single, testable hypothesis. Humans thrive on artificial difficulty. 3 days later, Anthony stood again before Spy Master Donald, a revised report radiating from his datapad.
Sir, I've modeled it. Humans seek discomfort to overcome it. They choose arbitrary challenges, and that choice generates meaning.
Meaning? We're not philosophers. What military application does this have?
Unpredictability itself. If we understand their drive, we can anticipate their next self-imposed challenge, even if it's a war for the sake of the challenge.
You're suggesting they'd start a war, as a game.
Not a game, sir. A test. They've done it before. Their history is a cycle of hardship, adaptation, and triumph. This model explains every anomaly.
The Council will call it psychological babble, but it's the most coherent thing we've produced.
Then let them call it what they want. It's the truth. And if we ignore it, we're flying blind into a species that invents its own challenges.
The Spy Master stared at the chessboard on his shelf, a human game of artificial conflict. He understood the metaphor too well. He would submit the report without endorsement. Let the Council decide if they were ready to see humans not as an opponent, but as a puzzle that refused to be solved. The Imperial Security Council sat in their crescent-shaped chamber, the air thick with impatience. Spy Master, Donald projected the refined report, his voice detached. The lead psychologist, an ancient with filaments of wisdom and a reputation for puncturing ambition, activated his display and read silently. Then he laughed, a dry rasp. A species that invents hardship for amusement? You've reduced our intelligence to anthropology. His words echoed off the cold walls.
Anthropology that explains why our warriors are breaking. But I'll never say it aloud.
The council members exchanged glances. The lead psychologist sealed his verdict. This model is a fantasy. We need actionable intelligence, not a theory of human recreation.
The report is withdrawn. I'll ensure all future analysis focuses exclusively on military vulnerabilities.
He encoded the dismissal himself. The refined model disappeared from the network, classified beyond reach of anyone but him.
We had the skeleton key to their psyche, and I just melted it down.
The council recessed, satisfied. Donald sat alone in the empty chamber, the weight of the buried truth pressing on his shoulders. Operation Long Eye would continue another 3 years in the dark, groping for a flaw that wasn't there. 3 years after the council buried Anthony's model, a new kind of crisis reached Spymaster Donald. Field Handler report: Agent 47 missed 3 scheduled transmissions. Last message: I have found a path, do not follow.
He's no longer ours. The infection isn't just data, it's the agents themselves.
Surveillance confirmed. Agent 47 had integrated into a human community. He was feeding waterfowl in a park, smiling.
This is a containment failure. Recall every agent before more of them slip through our fingers.
The emergency recall signal blazed across 200 agent channels, demanding immediate extraction. Acknowledgements came in a slow trickle, then evasions, then silence.
How many confirmed?
The operations board updated. 47 agents confirmed extraction. 153 remained silent. Over half the infiltration force had vanished into the world they were sent to observe, swallowed by the human compulsion to belong. But 60 of them sent final transmissions first. Some were operational logs, others were confessions. Agent 12, I have adopted a small predator. It purrs when I stroke it. I no longer wish to leave.
Agent 12 was a tactical specialist. The report read like a love letter.
Agent 95, the humans held a celebration for the passing of seasons. I danced. I cannot explain why.
They're not just observing, they're becoming.
15 reports referenced voluntary pain. 8 chronicled the joy of pointless rules in human games.
Pain, joy, rules, all self-imposed. The model fits their own agents now.
He compiled the final testament, a dossier of agents who had tasted the human compulsion for challenge and found it addictive.
If they can't leave, it's not a prison. It's a home they never had.
The reports sat on his desk, a verdict written by their own operatives. The Empire had lost. It just didn't know it yet.
I've spent 28 years decoding a species that treats life as a game. I refuse to waste another day.
He carried the resignation datapad to Donald's office, each step feeling heavier than the last.
Sir, my resignation. Effective immediately. The mission has destroyed too many. I won't be the next.
Your resignation? After all this time, you'd abandon the operation?
Abandon? There's nothing to salvage. The agents are leaving us, the council won't listen, and we're chasing shadows.
I don't accept. You will stay until the 30-year mark. That's an order.
You can't order me to go insane. I've seen what happens.
You will stay, or do you want to follow Soren into the void? That's the alternative.
Defeated, Anthony returned to his desk, the resignation still glowing unaccepted. He packed his few personal items, knowing they'd remain. He was a prisoner now, bound by duty and fear, kept alive only to witness the Empire's final humiliation. That night, Spymaster Donald retrieved the one file he'd avoided for 3 years, Anthony's cumulative dossier.
I buried this to save face. Now my agents are defecting, and the answer was here all along.
He read the final testament, agents keeping predators, dancing at festivals, seeking fear for growth. Each report a puzzle piece.
The pattern was undeniable. Humans manufactured challenges in every aspect of life. Anthony's model was right. And I let the council mock it. I buried the truth. Now a broken division and a third of my force lost to the enemy. They invent obstacles to create meaning. That's their core. Not madness. A value system I can't map. But it's real.
He looked at a hollow photo of his children, untouched for years. He had sacrificed everything for a lie.
The mission was doomed from the first report. The only honorable act left is to admit failure. I will resign, not in shame, but as the only one who finally understands what we faced.
He sat in the dark, the resignation forming in his mind. Tomorrow, he would end it. Early next cycle, Donald summoned Anthony for what would be their final conversation. The room felt colder.
I read the dossier, all of it. Your model was correct from the start.
You read it? After the council buried it, I thought no one would.
I buried it myself. I let them mock the truth. Now we've lost agents, analysts, and years. It's my failure.
Failure is a small word. The Empire's grand intelligence operation is a monument to our blindness.
Which is why I'm ending it. I'll resign today and classify humans as non-modelable.
He's actually doing it, after 30 years, admitting defeat. Terrifying and right.
Take my recommendation. Shut this down before it devours anyone else. You were the only one who saw clearly.
The spy master logged his resignation and a formal assessment of humanity as fundamentally unpredictable. Anthony watched Donald walk out, carrying the weight of a failed empire on his shoulders. The recall order, now backed by the spy master's resignation authority, sent extraction shuttles to the 47 agents who still answered. The rest sent final transmissions, some apologetic, some defiant, or simply melted into radio silence. Donald, in his empty office, scrolled through the manifest of the lost. A third of his force had vanished into the world they were sent to observe.
They didn't defect. They found a challenge worth staying for.
Across the bullpen, the last analysts logged off their terminals. One by one, they walked out without looking back. The buzzing intelligence hub fell silent, its walls lined with dead screens and abandoned stations. The satellite network around Earth began to deteriorate. Untended systems sparked and broke apart in orbit, their watchful eyes going dark. On a rooftop below, an agent who had refused extraction watched the failing lights and felt no regret. The Empire's grand infiltration had ended not in conquest, but in a silent admission of incomprehension. The remaining agents dissolved into human society, their past lives a fading transmission, their new homes something the Empire could never understand. The Imperial Security Council reconvened. Donald's resignation letter served as cover for a single-page recommendation. An elder counselor read aloud, "Humans are non-modelable. Further attempts will waste resources and lives." A younger voice challenged, "We spent 30 years. There must be a way to translate this data into strategic advantage." The lead counselor displayed the agent loss figures, the analyst burnout, the defection rate. The numbers silenced the dissent. The vote was unanimous. The formal classification blazed across the network, transmitted to all fleets. Species 4872 Terra, non-modelable. Orders followed swiftly. Disband the analysis division, reallocate resources, seal the files. The vast archive of weekly reports, the rejected theories, the desperate models, all compressed into a sealed crystalline vault. The question that haunted the Empire for 3 decades was now officially unanswerable. They had named the void they could not cross. High above the blue planet, the last surveillance satellites spiraled into silence, a testament to the limits of Imperial comprehension. In the spymaster's office, the holographic reports had gone dark. Nothing remained but the faint hum of unused power. The bullpen had become a ghost room, bare desks, silent terminals, a fallen chair no one bothered to write. One analyst's family photo lay cracked on the floor, its image long since replaced by static. Outside, the viewport showed Earth at night, a web of human lights, indifferent and alive. The surveillance grid decayed frame by frame. A satellite trailing sparks spun past the observation window, another silent tomb. The last relay buoy blinked its final warning and went cold, its signal lost among the static of a planet that never asked to be watched. A Terran patrol cruiser cut a silent path above a city skyline, its running lights steady and unconcerned. It scanned no threats, reported no anomalies. The city below continued its quiet, impossible heartbeat. On the ground, a runner stopped at a crosswalk, breath steady, earbuds in place. Just another human, training for nothing. the lights changed. She jogged on, disappearing into the evening crowd, a puzzle the Empire had spent 30 years and could never solve. Below, on a street corner, a child laughed at nothing. A parent bought balloons shaped like extinct predators. No one looked up. The sky was empty now, a fact no one celebrated, because no one had known it was ever full. The Terran patrol cruiser completed its sweep and returned to base, its report log reading. No anomalies. Light years away, a crystalline vault sealed with the Empire's single greatest classified word, non-modelable. The Imperial Intelligence Station, once bustling, drifted in silence. A single light flickered in a forgotten corridor. Back on Earth, night fell. The web of human lights glittered, each one a choice, a challenge, a game. A street musician played a sad, clumsy tune. A crowd gathered to throw coins, not because he was good, but because the failing itself was beautiful. The last alien satellite's orbit decayed. It burned up as a shooting star over a sleeping world. And the Empire, in its infinite wisdom, finally learned the most important truth about humanity. They were the one thing that could never be understood, and that was the point. The void between stars kept its secrets, and Earth kept running just because it could.